Ah, hello everybody. I felt prompted to get on and record something, to share something. I'm not quite sure, all the details yet, but I feel like I'll get there. I know that a lot of people right now, most of us, if not all of us, are feeling the weight of the world. And it's just been getting crazier and crazier, hasn't it? It's just been getting wilder and wilder. And it's really, it's really hard to not give up on that. At least for me. Um, which I guess is where the sharing part comes in. 'Cause I think if I am, I hope this context will be helpful to someone. And it won't just be for me to experience. Yeah, so basically, a lot of the things in my life culminating together led to me wanting out from a very early age. I'm gonna say around 10. 10 on. And that came to a pretty intense head, obviously, in the last 4-ish years. You know, since everything feels like it's picked up pace. It feels like it's been picking up pace. And it feels like it's going to continue to pick up pace. I believed it was all going to come crashing down. And I did not see a future for myself. I did not see a future for me because I was so repressed. I thought all of the, I'm transgender, I'm autistic in an allistic society, I'm a furry for fuck's sake. I'm a bit of a loner, or I was a bit of a, I've been a bit of a loner. And I just thought, any day now, it's just gonna get worse and worse. But here's the important part, I suppose, but I held on. I held on to love and just being there for my family, even though I wasn't there for them nearly as much as I could have been, and I didn't treat them nearly as well as I should have, but now I'm learning, haven't quite finished learning to believe it'll get better. And I want to tell you how I believed that it would get better, because that was one of the hard parts. I know, you heard that and you were like, oh my freaking gosh, another guru that's just like, just gotta believe, man. Just gotta believe. Because I felt that way. I felt that way. And I didn't get what that meant. Bork! Whoa! I burnt out recently, right? Of course. And that really scared me. With, Ehlers-Danlos and autism and everything, I I really would have insane difficulty keeping down a job without, you know, ruining my body, as far as I could tell. And I was scared because streaming and YouTube and stuff was like a lifeline for me. It it all looked like it literally looked like the world was ending. And it was just, it'll stop any day now, any day now, any day now, kind of a thing. And I couldn't be myself, but then I got this, where I just was myself because I believed that was the recipe. If I'm in a sea of the entire world, the only way I'm gonna have any success in this is to be what makes me unique. And I guess that will come naturally to me, right? The answer to that is no. It does not come naturally. Bark, bark, what do you want? You guys saved me. Yeah. And it was a lot of fun. I wasn't sure at the time if it was really real. I feel like I was kind of dissociated from a lot of it, in a way. Or at least stepping back and thinking, is this really as cool as I think it is? Well, which I guess was a good idea. Even with that lifeline, I was still terrified. Cowboy, what's up? I know, there's not much room up here. Yes! Come here! Come on! I don't get what the big idea is. You just want some pets? Okay. Okay. Yeah, I was terrified. I think... No, I remember very clearly that it was... February. Gosh, could not say it. What was that, 2022? When I moved out. Get the freak out of here. Get out of here. Get here. Get your wagon tail out of here. No. Oh my gosh, this dog. I knew that I was in a very unstable situation, regardless of how much I was making. I didn't think I could do anything else sustainably, though. And I didn't think that life was really worth doing anything else. At least not, in this body with the limitations that I have. But, that fear is one of the fear of stepping out and relying on something like this, and knowing that if you fail, you it might just be over. I don't know. That's what it felt like. I didn't know what would happen. I had no idea what was going to happen. But I thought it was my only way out. But I also thought I had to stick to it. A little too hard. I ground myself to a pulp, trying to keep it up, relying on the fear of falling out into the money grinder machine that I had been so afraid of. That fear and the loneliness and isolation after I did move out, I was quite worried that I would take my own life. And I thought I just needed to move to a different state. Maybe get away from my parents, be with, friends in person. It's been great. I'm glad I moved out here. It's come with its own challenges. That fear didn't go away because I let it control me into continuing to push really hard. Sometimes in directions that I rather would not have pushed in. That's life, baby. So we've come to another crossroads, right? And I have one fateful Twitch stream. One of my final Twitch streams. It's like PC building simulator. And at that point, it was when I realized that all that was left was my fear playing a caricature of me. And I realized, oh my gosh, I've lost connection. I had like the, like the Rayman Legends animated show where it's like Ramon or something, and he's like got I didn't do coke, but he's like got coke all over his nose, and he's like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? Which was funny, because I really felt in the moment when I watched that it was foreshadowing of me breaking down and having a moment like that. Maybe my interpretation of that scene, my fear, is what caused me to break down in that way. I don't know. It might just be that obvious. It was pretty scary. The reasons I stayed were, for my family, for my audience now, because I had originally undertaken the idea of I want to use this platform to put a little light into the world. And I mean, can't just leave you guys. I love you. And my roommate at the time, just one roommate, my responsibilities. the same night of that breakdown, that meltdown, I called my mom, said I was probably sobbing at this point. Said I needed help. They scheduled me a flight out to Utah the next day. And I didn't at the time believe that that would help. I mean, my parents had been asking me how they could help for forever, and I didn't know. I had no idea what was wrong, that they told me to watch a movie, so I watched Into the Spider-Verse. And I was just at such a low point. I remembered the first scenes in Gwen's world. That color palette, the blues, the emotion of that was just so crushing. So truly deep and defeated. And I remember that distinction because I watched the movie again when I felt better. And it was nothing like that. It was beautiful. But it was just... I couldn't find anything but down. And I closed my eyes and got really annoyed with all of the sounds in the room, with also the electric humming I hear all the time. So I turned everything off. I unplugged my VR base stations, I turned off the TV, the PC, everything, so that maybe it would just quiet down. Maybe it would just stay still for a second so I could take a breath. But even then, sitting in my room in perfect silence, in my bed, comfy, fed, though, relying on savings to feed myself. Though I wasn't at that time. I was scared that I was going to in the near future, which I hope to. And I still couldn't get away from it. From the overwhelming experience of just existing here. And so I did what I've tried to do quite a few times, and I closed my eyes and listened to my body and told it, hey, maybe this is it. Maybe just try to shut down or something. Because I've been trying to do that for pretty much like I said, since I was 10. I couldn't make any attempts that left evidence because I was too afraid of being caught. So I tried to shut my body down, and that high-pitched whirring that I always hear, that I always refer to as the electricity in my brain. It's a few pitches, so I can't make it with my mouth. And so I told myself that, and I started letting myself sink, and I heard it go. And it just slowly sank all the way down, and I just really wanted it to come to a stop. Like, where's the bottom? I don't think there is a bottom. But at a certain point, when that whirring was like it was like when you just hold down a single note on a synthesizer keyboard. It was a couple notes, but you get what I mean. Just in this place of, I mean, as close to perfect stillness as I've ever been. Maybe not as close. As close as I remember being at any time recently. In that moment, I thought that it kind of sounded like music. And it stopped going down. And I listened to it. And I just perceived it, the sound. And I started hearing faint harmonies coming in and out. The simplest, most basic hum. And I thought, hold on. There's a lifeline. There's a lifeline. It's so small. It's a pinprick. But it's there. And I thought, could I really make it better just by listening to the music? And I remember it felt like deciding yes was like staring up at a cliff. But I thought, what else am I gonna do? So I started humming along. And the tune was so somber. And so full of pain. And I was trying to sound happier. But it didn't know. After I finished humming, I felt that first little bit of peace, that I might be okay. And that was just long enough for me to go see my parents and to pull up. You know, I wasn't gonna be here. By no means did that pinprick solve all of my problems. By no means. But by God, I'm so glad it gave me another day. Now I'm crying on virtual camera as a dog that can't show you my tears. Just hoping that this helps someone. You have to believe that it can be better. And you can do that. I know you can. I know you can. I know that. I love you all so much. I think... I mean... Either my body gives out or it doesn't, you know? I'm ready to live. I'm ready to live. For real this time. I wasn't sure if I was gonna be emotional enough to cry during any of this, but you know, maybe it's... maybe that's what 3 weeks on estrogen will do. Something big is happening. That's my understanding of it. You're all along for the ride. Good luck. I'm here with you. And you're important, okay? I love you.